Already YouTubers. So I did want to make a display update for you guys because I've changed a bunch of things since yesterday's video, trying a few things out. Whenever you do a statue display change, you really have to try a lot of things until you get the display to look just perfect in your eyes. Now, for me, I'm trying Venom bust and Venom right here. Due to Venom's angle, like it looks really good right there. Prime 1 Venom looks fine. There's, some black bars blocking it from this angle, but it's like not blocking the faces, which is fine. I did try those two there, but I don't like that quite as much. Now, one thing, if I'm standing in this room, right here, I can still visually view them. Can't see those two. Well, at least I can't see the Venom bust. Granted, I do sit in this banana chair for the most part. If I want to look at the top shelf statues, I stand up. If I want to look at the bottom, I sit down. That's generally how that's the reason I have this banana chair. So it doesn't bug me too much that I can't see it perfectly, because the same can be said about that. I can't see any of them standing up. So as long as it's good for my chair, that is what matters. And I did think perhaps of doing the DC right here. However, I didn't like those two there because I couldn't visually see them good sitting down or standing. So I think it's best to just keep DC here, which means keeping Marvel all along this. Now, there are a few options I can do for this display if I want to A, keep Avengers 1/6, B, move Spider-Man, but then there is an extra spot for something else to go right there. The original plan, what I was thinking is doing Venom there, Spider-Man there, because then it fills the entire display perfectly, and do all DC here. But I just wasn't liking how DC was looking right here nearly as much. I still may try it, but if I do Spider-Man here, there's definitely an extra empty spot to display something next to Spider-Man. Technically I could probably do the Doctor Strange bust. I could... Doctor Strange bust is 32 inches tall, so same height as Venom. But being right there, and I'd lower it to the ground, it may look good. And then if I move Spider-Man and Doctor Strange here, that frees that up, to do like Vision and Scarlet Witch, for example. Or what I was actually thinking is moving those two over there. And right here, you could do Vision Bust, Scarlet Witch, and Ultron. That way, that spot can be reserved for hopefully a future Hawkeye, potentially Scarlet Witch from Civil War. You could do Thor and Thor there. There's a few different options. And in a hypothetical scenario where I wanted to keep Avengers 1/6, it definitely would make display more difficult. But wanted to show you this and what you think on the Venom display right here. Ideally, I do want to put Spider-Man next to him, though, because I think that would go best. Now, if I do Spider-Man there, the best companion could be Iron Man or Doctor Strange, considering, Iron Man was like his tutor. Doctor Strange was in the third movie. Those could be some of the best companion pieces to Spidey. Also, I could probably just do Black Panther, because that always looks kind of cool with the color variation. And they obviously fought together. Now, Alexa, turn on home theater statue lights. So I returned Sonya over here. I'm testing a few things out here. Finally sold my Thanos 1/10. But what I'm trying to do is keep as minimal lines as possible top shelf. Down low, each cube is its own shelf. Above, we're trying to keep it all ECC. So that's all ECC. And 3 lines. You got Underworld, Blade, Pan's Labyrinth. And the crazy thing is, I feel like, that corner, it's less lit. I really hate how they did my basement. There should be another one of those candle lights over there, but there isn't. So that's why I installed, these little lights right here. Plus, I can always turn the basement light on to get extra light. However, I feel like, for some reason, when it's in a darker corner, darker pieces look better. You know, like the darker fawn for some reason looks better than when I did like a more vibrant Lord of Darkness, for example. I feel like if it's a brighter piece, it kind of, I don't know, you just can't see it that good. A darker piece, for some reason, you can see better. So we're trying that. And then if I keep it like this, the idea would be put a Pan's Labyrinth poster right there above. You know, and then this looks good. And then over here's where we do Khaleesi. And then next to her, there's several options. There's A, Jon Snow, B, Night King, 3, Night King Bust by Blue Box. And then there's also potentially Khaleesi Bust by Infinity Studios if it fit, or Queen Studios also announced the Game of Thrones license, so more than likely they'll also do a Khaleesi Bust. So in my perfect mind, it would be a Khaleesi Bust with 3 baby dragons that sits at 30 inches tall. So that would be perfect. Second best option, in my opinion, would probably be Jon Snow, because it's, you know, he was one of the best characters in the series, even, you know, just forget the very last episode. But he was one of the best characters in the series, his growth and character development. I just like the actor. And him being thrown with the Iron Throne, you know, I think it looks fantastic next to Khaleesi. You know, I've seen the photos of them next to each other, so I think that would look really good. Night King does pair a little bit better with the surrounding characters all being like creatures. You know, him being like, whatever you want to call him, he's some form of a zombie in essence. But I feel like he fits the theme a little bit better, but Jon Snow fits next to Khaleesi a little bit better. So, and between Night King and Night King Bust, the Bust probably fits the theme better, being Bust in 1/4. However, the 1/4 also looks absolutely fantastic. So there's definitely a few options. So I'm going to play it out. Probably do Jon Snow because it's going to be the cheapest option. You know, he's only like $1,000, where Night King, if I did the ultimate, $2,000. Blue Box Hyper's Bust will be at least $2,000. But if we do see a Khaleesi Bust and it blows my freaking mind, I'll definitely get it. As long as it can fit in the display, hopefully. But even if it can't fit and it blows my freaking mind and it's priced reasonable, I'd probably just move Khaleesi, do something else there so I could get the Bust. So I've always wanted a really good Khaleesi Bust. My original custom I had 0 likeness, which really annoyed me. I didn't like the lack of body. The dragons were cheap plastic. That bust was honestly, like, the only good thing about it was the glass size. It had fantastic glass size. Otherwise, it was a terrible bust. Terrible design, terrible base, terrible everything. But then we go over to the horror section. So one thing I've done is I've risen this shelf to make it look less empty. That's kind of the idea, you know, where I can still see Lord of Darkness perfect while standing right in front of it. I can visually see him a lot better. And now this back corner is a really tricky spot because anything you put there, it is blocked by that black bar. So, you know, like I tried putting Lord of Darkness there, tried putting Chucky there, I tried putting Myers and Lord of Darkness in here. Nothing looked good. And that was another reason why when I put Annabelle in here, I just had this glass shelf, because nothing looked good in there. Now, I probably would just keep Annabelle in there. However, Lord of Darkness can't fit there, don't want to sell them. So the best option really is just keep Lord of Darkness there. If anything, I could do maybe some sort of prop that doesn't require, you know, tons of good visuals. Ideally a legend prop, but I could just do some sort of horror prop to make it look good. Now, Annabelle, I do like her in the glass shelf because, you know, that's how she's portrayed generally in the movie, you know, with the demon card, the devil, warning, do not open. You know, I have her legs severely bent to get her to fit inside a detolf because she is a 40-inch tall doll. So her legs are bent severely, but luckily her dress covers it, so I can still see her perfectly. And I think it looks really good here. You know, I still have the rocking chair, and I can always change it out if I ever want to. Then we come to Chucky. So down here is going to be all my slasher characters. You know, all of them are slasher movies. Then above, you got them as well, who are slasher movies, more or less. But Chucky, the only thing with him is to keep Chucky here, he needs a base, because he can't stand up straight without falling. That's why I have him leaning with his arm against the metal, because otherwise he'd fall forward. And that's one thing I hate about all Chucky dolls, is they never can stand. Their heads are too heavy, the bodies are usually foam and wire, and they just fall over. That's why I always had it in a glass shelf, to prevent him from falling. But doing it in a shelf like this, I would want to move him more to the left with a base. So I've been looking at a bunch of different Chucky bases. There's lots of options. There's some ones that are pretty nice that are almost like tile with blood and, you know, like name plates that cost like $200. Then there's cheaper ones for like $90 that are more or less like a round circle with, you know, some like a good guy logo, some blood, yellow themed. So there's lots of different options. Trying to decide if I want to go cheaper or more expensive. Might do cheap because the more expensive are going to make them too tall and I wouldn't be able to see them quite as good. But then right here we do Ghostface, Leatherface, Myers, but Myers on the black base with leaves, pumpkin, move the staircase back in the corner with just the tombstone, pumpkin, and probably my extra Myers head sculpt, and just prop that knife right there, move that to the right. So I think that can look really good. I got the black base coming to me already, and I do want to have that as an option, you know, even though I know he looks better on the staircase. It portrays a scene better, and it has more presence. It looks better, no doubt. Don't get me wrong. But for what I want to accomplish, having the 4 right here, boom and boom, we need to do black base. I know I can lower that to the ground, but it still doesn't allow me to see him good visually because he's standing super far back. But I will make it look good. Then you all know Terminator. I'm just going to get 1/3 Arnold, T1000 wall mount right there. Boom, done. If we ever get a 1/3, I can put the arm right there and do a 1/3 there, or scoot that over and do a 1/3 there, and even just move that fan. Lots of options, but I gotta say in general, I think this wall is looking the best it's ever been, having just 3 lines instead of tons of random stuff that just didn't fit totally properly theme-wise. You know, like Red Sonja kind of fits in that theme, kind of, because she has a snake. However, in general, the movie type doesn't truly fit, you know, like sci-fi monster creatures. You know, sure, you have a snake, but that's the only thing that honestly fits theme-wise. I do think Lord of Darkness fits good here. However, there's no space. Game of Thrones does fit because it's dragons, which is, you know, mythological creatures. So I do think that fits good. Otherwise, overall, the wall is looking freaking fantastic. And over here, we just, you know, like, we know what we need to do here. I do think in general having the 3 PCS 1/3 and then Chucky will look really good. So we're going to make this look really good, no doubt. So I'm supposed to get Kratos today, but it still shows it's in California. It's stuck in customs for 3 days. So tracking is never reliable. Said I'd get it Wednesday, Saturday, here we are, still not here. So we will see if it comes today. Hasn't updated to Utah yet. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And it's still a work in progress, obviously, but trying to figure things out to get it the best look possible and really get it to its final look. Because whenever a display has one thing that just bugs me, I have to change it until it gets to that point where I frickin' love it and it looks perfect. Like, I do feel like my Alien and Predator right now is perfect. Overall, I really like the way it looks. There's not one thing that truly bugs me. The only thing I would do as a potential change would be getting rid of XM Predator for Berserker Predator. Like, if we get a 1/3 Berserker Predator that could fit in that corner, I would absolutely change that out. So that's one thing I would change. Otherwise, I like having 2 different Predators, one masked, one unmasked. My Alien display is perfect, and all of these are perfect statues for the most part. So we will see. Anyways, folks, that's it for today's video. If you are looking to buy any statues, please use the links below, as it does help the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.